Let's see what type of beat we're gonna make today. I'm gonna spin that one again. I'm gonna let me just do that one more time. Hey, look what we're gonna be doing today. I totally did not have this prepared in advance. I just did this on the whim. Basically, started out how all good things do with a woman. Oh, if only. No, started out with logic, like how all bad things do. I heard this sample and I thought logic. He kind of almost says his name, but like, hope I'm not too close to the mic here. But I was tapping around with the loop function. This would be good to chop up. So to prove how easy sampling is, I did something relatively simple. Look, for how I actually got the chops themselves, I literally just went here, edit audio editor, edit properties, right? I put in the BPM of the song. You can find this out with Google, but since I use Tracklib, it just told me. And then this actually puts everything to the grid, or it tells Edison, that's what this is, what the BPM of this is. So then when I do go here, I go this marker, auto slice, and I think it was medium. Yeah, medium. This isn't a cheat code. This just cuts to every beat, or every, I'm gonna say 8th beat. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure older technology can do this. If not, I think it'd be easy to implement it. It's not cheating. I just wanted to experiment, and it turned out good. So then I just plugged it into here, Slice X. I pitched it down 300 cents to make it more interesting, and I just went around trying to find something interesting. And I did this technique before, but this is like what I call like fashion killer type technique, where you chop up stuff really small and it makes it da 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 kind of sound. I gave this sample a lo-fi kind of feel. First off with the parametric EQ to cut out the lows, because I had a bass line, I wanted my kicks to be more resonant. And then I added Cymatics Origin, which I think does a low pass. Just a little bit of movement, a little bit of saturation, good amount of noise. This is vinyl noise. And then just pre-sample. I don't know exactly what these things do, but I know post makes it sound bit crushed. This makes it sound clearer. And this one makes it sound low pass. I put no chorus because you hear it sounds weird. Then what I recommend first, after you've got a main sample loop, this one's interesting enough where you could totally just loop this forever, but that's not what we do here. We're cool people, we do cool things. So then I went to go develop my loop more, and just I found this really cool thing. And if I was my old self, a plebeian if you would, I would have used this for the rest of the song. Yeah, I would have used this loop as the alternate, and that would have been the whole beat. But I decided that this kind of sounds like, not an intermission, but kind of like a bridge. Hey, oh, wow. And then another part of my sampling is easy philosophy is that you can, if you cut stuff small and it's like a nice soulful track, you can just do this, just like 4 sample chops off. This one's not that interesting because it's just like to loop back into the original. You'll see in a second. But I think it just sounds nice. Then that leads into another alternate section later, but I'll explain that when we come to it. Now these drums, I wanted to make interesting. Originally, they were just normal drums. For example, hi-hats, every 2-step, kicks. And then I found a little roll. What I recommend is that if you ever find a drum kit, look deep inside those WAV files because they put some random stuff in there. And drum rolls sound really, really nice. I highly recommend it. But these drums didn't really have that much life. So I learned from my Freako beat, which I don't think I'm going to make a video on. But trust me, I made a Freako beat. And I did 8 bars of hi-hats, and I squished them all down, which gave me a double time hi-hat pattern. So where we would usually have 2 hats per bar, now we have 4. And I also did the velocity where it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. If you do down, up, it goes quiet when a noise hits and then back up, and you still get that feeling of semi-live hi-hats. And you see it becomes more random as it goes on, but that's not intentional. I just recommend messing with the hi-hat velocities, just so your hi-hats don't become as serious, and also it sounds nicer. I shot all my stuff into a drum bus, I think that's what it's called, but basically I put all my real sounds, basically my kick, my snare, and my roll. I discluded the hi-hats for this reason, I'll show you in a second, but I just added them to another origin to make a more lo-fi sounding, up the saturation to make the drums hit harder, pre for the low pass, post for the crush, which also makes the drums hit harder, and then this thing which makes everything brighter. No noise on it because I think there's already enough noise from the sample. No chorus because you know why, and then movement doesn't matter on drums because the notes are so short, they're just sounds. So then I created this simple pattern of drums. The original drum kicks were not very interesting, so what I recommend is just setting this to beat, I think. Is it beat? No, setting this to step, and then just placing notes and just seeing what sounds good, and then screwing with velocity. So this, for example, let me play with the snare. There's a lot of, it feels like it's leading into the snare. It's not perfect. It's not the best thing I've done, but it's interesting. It's you don't want your beat to sound boring because then nobody's gonna listen to it. And then I just added rolls every so often. These ones really have no significance, especially this one. But this last one rolls into the next bar, which is a good transition. And I use that transition a lot later, which I'll show you right now. So in total, the beginning would sound like this. And then this little bridge, and then that roll kicks up into there. Also, a side effect of having these sporadic kicks is that some of them actually start on the roll, which gives it a more drum roll feel, because drum rolls aren't only snares, people also had kicks into them, I think. But yeah, then the progression was just the da 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 going into the bridge, into that 4th step up, and then transition back into this. What I also did was layer my rolls. You can see that most of these are like more than one, and that makes it louder because it's just both the sounds playing on top of each other. Also adds like a nice contrast to it. What I think is becoming a trope for me, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but whenever I reintroduce the main part, I cut out some of the sounds. But here, what's cool is if you cut out the snare, it makes it sound like the kick is playing twice. And also that roll brings us back into everything else. And then we have the bridge again. Then we have this part. This was just me just going around seeing if I could do like a cooler piece, but just hearing how this sounded, it was a little different. I had to tweak it to make it sound like, I don't know, but I wanted it to sound sporadic and like somebody playing on an MPD. I have an MPD, other people have an MPC. Put a picture up on screen so that people know the difference. Just a reminder that this is like a sample-based song, and there's like so many chops in here. I don't know, it just sounds like, it sounds cool. It adds to the lo-fi feel of everything. This beat felt very warm, so I named it like a lakeside cabin beat. On to the next part. It felt just a bit empty. Suggestion by my dad, actually. I should add a bass line. So, I don't know music theory, especially like Tracklib does give you the key of the song, but since I pitched it down, the key is different, so I had to manually find it. So I just I used Boo bass this time. I didn't use an 808. I brought the bass up, mid down, treble up. That's a new addition. but I just wanted a bass sound, and I just did this. And I just touched this until I found something similar to the sample. Originally it was just solid notes, so then I chopped them up and it made this like kind of bouncy feeling, kind of glitchy like the sample. So I also lowered the velocities, so it would seem like it was like echoing. I didn't want it to show up too much, but you can hear it underneath it. It is partially in key. I can't confirm nor deny that it is or it isn't, but I'm pretty sure it is. The only issue I see now is that I think it's played a little early for that second part. Let me try. This is an experiment. This whole thing was that this whole series was made that so people could see how I've learned how to do beats. But this one, and I keep forgetting to leave in like mistakes I've done. This one might be a mistake. Let's see. Yes, this is so low sound, cymatics origin doesn't really do anything to it. Let me do some final adjustments to how it sounds. Let's see how that is. Because I want it to pop, because this whole thing feels like that one Isaiah Rashad cover. Like when I saw the original cover, I thought of this as well. Let me find it. Yeah, you see it's like beige background, blue and red on top, beige background, red and blue. I never really looked too close to the cover, but the general idea of this album, that's what this kind of feels like. Oh, this is bad. These alternative covers have kind of, not really that good. This is a good album cover though. But yeah, I wanted it to pop a little bit, but I'm gonna see how it sounds like full bass note. Now let me try. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's going to be in the background mostly because the bass presence shouldn't truly be felt in my opinion. Since this isn't a bass-centric song, it's mainly focused on the sample. But also you can see with it in the background with the drums on top, it does tie everything together. And this is without the bass. It feels empty once you realize that the bass is an option to put in there, if that makes sense. And also if you look at the parametric EQ, it's hard to tell, but the bass presence lessens. Like you can see when after the kick goes up right here, everything drops back down really fast. But with the bass there, it keeps up that level. It keeps everything even, which is good. This could loop on forever. I think I'll just loop it on one more time. I gotta find an outro for this song though, so that's what I'll be doing next.
I've been hanging just about well. I've been hanging just about well. I've been hanging just about well.
Yeah, so I made the outro a little record backspin. And just this last sample thing is just with that little bit of skips in between. Again, sampling, it's only as difficult as you make it, right? If everything's good now, I'm gonna post the beat right after this.